Hey metalheads, welcome to another episode of Metal Academix. This time, your choice?
My choice is all about Vikings and Viking metal. Amon Amarth.
All right, Amon Amarth.
There's one thing to begin the episode and say, raise your horns. Because that's the name of a wonderful song by this wonderful band, but not the song that we're going to listen to.
Not one.
It's just a song we want to cheer to in these real horns. Amon Amarth has so many songs to choose from, but I actually really love their latest album from 2019 called Berserker.
The classic Viking warriors.
I don't know they always talk about Vikings and they always talk about warriors and the Norse mythology. This is a very common trope. That's why they're called Viking metal, even though they prefer not to be called Viking metal. They prefer to be called melodic death metal.
I recently read, just fun fact, about berserkers, these legendary warriors. There's a recent study that showed that, or suggested that they were on psychedelic drugs before they went into battle.
Yeah, they're famous, at least in Sweden. I don't know if they're famous, but it's like a common knowledge that they really like those red mushrooms you pick in the woods. Apparently, they have such psychotropic effects. But I don't think that that part is integrated into the band's lore. I think they're much more about the real powerful and strong and valiant warriors of the Viking era and all the myths that surround the pre-Christian mythology of the North. And again, they're very entitled to do so because they are actually from Sweden. They are from a little place outside Stockholm. And they have been around since 1992, making lots of albums, but breaking through in 2008.
Yeah, and the lead singer is quite a Viking in and of himself.
He's huge. And honestly, the one reason, if I am to name one reason why I absolutely love this band, which is not necessarily always like what you think that I would like, is because of the voice of this man. My God, if you've never heard Amon Amarth, which I guess it's a minority of people, but anyway, had you not listened to it, it's just amazing. The voice is not human because it's growly, but not growly. It's just deep, the deepest bass you can come up with. Johan Hegg, the name of the singer is Johan. He is just out of this world, and the voice matches the man. Yeah. I think it's pretty impressive. So I really like this latest album, the Berserker, and I realized that one of the reasons why I like it, it's also because it's produced slightly differently. And I was reading up about what happened behind the scenes, and turns out it's a new producer that they've been working on, and this guy is from LA, like United States. So that maybe explains the different sound. And I'm one of the people who really like this slight change in the sound. So let's listen to one song from Berserker, which is called Raven's Flight, that also has a pretty good video from the band.
Yeah, although I'm realizing with these horns, there's really nowhere to put them.
No,
we have to put our headphones on. So
yes, we'll do it elegantly.
That's elegantly possible. I don't think this is how the Vikings did it, but they didn't have Bluetooth.
They did have Bluetooth.
Which is, Herald Bluetooth.
Exactly.
All right.
They had the original Bluetooth.
Yeah. Well.
Harald Blåtand.
So heavy.
I don't think so. Really? Yeah?
But the voice as well?
The voice just gets to your belly, and I love it. This is the part that I really enjoyed.
Question.
Yeah.
Pop quiz. Do you know who the Ravens are? Odin's Ravens. Do you know their name off the top of your head?
I forgot them, but I know they're legendary, obviously, in the Norse mythology.
Hunin and Munin.
That's right. I always thought they had
Meaning
such
wisdom and memory.
very funny names.
One looking back, one looking forward. Wisdom, memory.
I love it.
No, yeah. Wisdom, memory. I was thinking also knowledge. Anyways, so that's one fun fact. Second fun fact is the Berserker in this video, because this is one I think of 3 that they released off the new album. The Berserker is a pro wrestler in the WWE, Eric Rowan. I haven't watched WWE
That's their
in a while.
name?
That's his name.
Yeah.
And so what he does is he's well known in the metal community because he wears, whenever he does his entrance, he wears a different metal t-shirt of different bands. So Amon Amarth, but also lots of other bands we'll cover on the channel. And I didn't know that until I was just kind of reading a little bit about the new album. And yeah.
He's popped up when you Googled Berserker?
Yeah, so he's I don't know how that happened, but yeah, that Berserker
That's his persona.
is a pro wrestler.
How
which is quite cool.
Now I'm asking you, this is a pop quiz moment, but do you know where the name Amon Amarth comes from?
I have no idea.
It's a cool name, but it actually is one of, it means Mount Doom, and it is in one of the languages from Tolkien's trilogy on Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
So Amon Amarth means Mount Doom.
Okay. Did not know that.
So they are very inspired, obviously, by that mythological past. And Tolkien himself, he was inspired a lot by the Norse mythology as well. So it's a kind of a circle there. That's a lot of the songs. So that's I always wonder what it is, and then I Googled and I found out what this is all about. But in terms of their success, they're actually one of the most successful Swedish metal bands in general. And even though they've been working since 1992, their global success, only came in 2008. And we're going to listen to their #1 most played song and the title song of the eponymous album, and I just want to get it totally right. It is the Twilight of the Thunder God from, again, 2008, that made it to top 10 in Sweden and top 50 in Billboard.
Yeah, it's cool. I think, much of the Viking sagas were oral traditions. And I think, singing is an oral tradition. I think Amon Amarth is the modern day carrier of Nordic mythology. So let's hear Twilight of the Thunder Gods.
Exactly. And it's a great song, really. I know it's everybody refers to it, but it is really so good.
Thunder God. There's only one.
Wow.
Yeah. Norse mythology, often in metal music, but Amon Amarth does it.
I think they own it. They own it. If there's anyone who owns it, it's Amon Amarth, and I think it's great. Again, I love the voice. It hasn't changed anything. You know, there's years that has passed. So it is 11, 12 years since 2008 and now, and the voice is just like spot on.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm usually not a big fan of growling. There's a few bands that I like with growling, but here, you know, it's a different. Different because you hear what is actually being said, right? It's not just like death metal, you know, Cannibal Corpse, just.
No, it's very different. That's what I mean. Like it sticks out. That's why it's called melodic death metal, and it's a kind of a brand of metal. I don't really like these labels, to be honest. I don't really like when people say, "Oh, what kind of metal is this?"
Yeah.
It's epic and it's death and it's black and it's, you know. I think it's a little bit superfluous, and to also, as listeners, to labels, I'm really much into one thing. I don't know. I don't personally like that kind of labeling on myself, and I don't want to say that. But I think in terms of the themes covered by the band, it's definitely Viking metal.
I thought of another fun fact, just coming into my brain. In the video, you saw them hitting their shields with the axes. Yeah. True story. Do you know when they would also do that?
No.
Not just to get pumped for battle, but and I read this in the Danish Viking Ship Museum.
Okay, so that's a legitimate knowledge.
This is confirmed. Yeah. That when the Vikings would take concubines, you know, they're women prisoners from other countries, they would. How do I put this in
impress
a PG?
Them.
No, they wouldn't impress them. They would force themselves upon them.
Oh, dude.
And the other Vikings would be outside banging the weapons against the shields so that the screams of the concubines would be drowned out by weapons and steel. Fun fact.
Not so fun. My God. Again,
but
war.
True story.
We don't want to glorify war. I don't think there's anything nice about it, especially in its modern take when there's nothing so noble since we don't have, but you know, remote
I just thought
distance,
of it when I was watching the video.
But it's also, I mean, that was the reality. Vikings were very brutal. If anybody's watching the Viking series on, I think, HBO, I think it's a pretty good, in the sense, historically accurate rendition of the very tough and brutal life.
Yet, they were also liked by the women of Britain. You know why?
Why?
Because Vikings were one of the earliest civilizations to use combs for their hair. So they had this long hair that they combed. No one else had combs. So the women that they actually took, oftentimes, and wrote about, that they were attractive because they combed their hairs and their beards. Earlier than
again, we compliment.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this stuff right now. But,
you've been to those museums, so that's clear. And we recommend you guys go see the real things. If you ever happen to be in Oslo, I think they have some of the best Viking treasures.
Yes.
So.
Getting slightly off topic, let's go to the third song.
Third song. It's not completely off because I wanted to introduce my last or my third choice by taking you to Oslo, because that's when you can see the original and some reproductions of Viking boats. The Viking boats that so famously took Leifur Eriksson all the way to North America. I think what today would be Newfoundland in Canada. So the Vikings were actually the very first Europeans to cross, at least to our knowledge, to cross the Atlantic Ocean in boats that were open, which is quite amazing in terms of the risk they took and the toughness that it required to cross the Atlantic at the exposure of waves and storms and everything else. So they're pretty brutal. And from boats, Viking boats, and also museums, to the name of the third song in this Amon Amarth episode. And the name of it is When Once Again We Can Set Our Sails.
Which the Vikings only pillaged during the summer months. So maybe they were waiting. When once again we can set, because you can't sail when everything's frozen.
No, because the climate change did not happen exactly at the same time for them. There were some other issues with temperature, but not at that time. So yes, they're sailing, and it's one of my favorite pastimes as well. So one of my favorite songs. Nice outro.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was my other choice from Berserker, but I really encourage everybody to listen to their latest album. I think it's fantastic. They're going to be playing as headlining, basically, the Wacken Heavy Metal Festival this year, 2020. I wish so badly that I could go there, but it's just not fitting with other duties. But yeah.
Do you know, because we saw Amon Amarth not too
Just
long
recently,
ago in Malmö for their latest tour, and was this the song? Because it had to do something with the sea. At some point, pretty much the entire crowd by the stage got down was sitting down and rowing together.
No, it's another song. I don't think they played this
cool.
one. Yeah, they have so many good songs. I like from their latest album. I also like several others, and from their discography, a couple of really remarkable ones. But yeah, I think this is just like a taste of their latest album, which I again really appreciate a little bit the finesse. I think it comes from the producer, and I think it really turns out very, very, very nicely. Actually, as a trivia, the guitarist was saying in an interview that they went to LA and they worked from 9 in the morning to 10 in the evening. But the sound in the studio, in this specially designed studio, was simply beyond this earth. There's no special effects. Like the actual acoustics in the studio was amazing. The drum set was isolated in a room, a hangar that was the size of a basketball playing field, with microphones hanging from a 10-meter high ceiling. It was just like, wow. So yeah, you can hear that. You can hear the dimension of the sound, and I really enjoy it. I love this multi-level sound, and they really got it very nicely. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure that there's suggestions for other songs that we could have picked. So again, leave them below. Maybe Amon Amarth is worth a second episode somewhere down the line.
I don't think it'll be the end of Viking tropes coming into music. Because,
I don't think so.
There's quite a few bands that do that.
They get their inspiration from this world of myth. Again, Mount Doom and Tolkien and all that fantasy world, which I guess I also kind of like. But that being said...
Yeah. Until next time.
May your sword stay sharp.
And your quest end in glory.